After 6 long years, One Punch Man has finally returned with Season 3 Episode 1. I already talked about the episode and also compared the anime to the manga, so go check out those two videos. But to make a long story short, I think the artwork looks absolutely fantastic. There were shots in this episode that, in my opinion, looked considerably better than Season 2. The artists at JC Staff absolutely put their blood, sweat and tears to make some of these drawings look as visually stunning as possible. There were hardly any bad cuts in this episode, and that opening theme song, wow, that song might be my favorite One Punch Man theme song. It was such a banger with absolutely spectacular art and animation. If you saw my manga versus anime comparison, then you would see that for the majority of this episode, it was a faithful adaptation from the manga into the anime. I was actually quite surprised by how faithful it was. The majority of this episode was pretty much dialogue, setting us up for what is going to be a pretty hyped season by manga fans. So of course, with all of this dialogue and exposition for the new season, no Sakuga-like animation was to be expected. Well, actually not really. We could have actually got an entire Sakuga-like animation sequence, but JC Staff for whatever reason decided to delete it. But what do you mean we could have gotten Sakuga-like animation? Where could we have gotten it? Towards the end of the episode. So the entire final few minutes of this episode with Garou confronting is pretty much faithful from the manga into the anime, but before he walks into that room, the anime cut out an entire scene. The manga and anime pretty much play scene by scene, with Bargain Bin Ginyu Force begging the monsters not to end their lives. And then the manga has a scene where, before they are turned into monsters, they actually decide should they end their lives or monsterize them. And the monsters pretty much reveal what they want. They want the humans to suffer. This entire scene, which was cut out of the humans reacting to the monsters, wanting the humans to be Control-Alt-Deleted, was so sad, dude. Why did they cut this scene out? We know the monsters are pretty evil and horrible, but this entire scene ramps up that evilness to over 9,000. The other cut frames are the monsters charging towards the humans, no longer containing their excitement and hunger. This shot looks terrifying, and look at the poor Bargain Bin Ginyu Force on the ground. I feel sorry for them. Now, these scenes are not spoilers because they literally happen just before the humans get turned into monsters. It's all in the same scene, but in case anime onlys don't want to see those scenes in hopes that they could somehow place them in episode 2 of season 3, then some spoilers, you have been warned. And then out of the blue, who should appear but a new demon character, King the Ripper. So at the end of this episode, we do have this frame of King the Ripper. The anime deleted this scene of him absolutely going crazy on these monsters. The way King the Ripper is just toying with these humans as they are just crying is honestly horrifying, dude. Even Garou, who is not the biggest hero fan, acknowledges that these monsters are absolutely crazy, and he is more or less on the same side as them. And the anime cut this scene out.
Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
The scene still plays out of the main monster leader and demon machine god G5 discussing that they should use the humans as pawns, but the anime cut this scene of King the Ripper against the idea of that, and then DOS appears and stops King the Ripper from ending the humans' lives. It's so interesting that King the Ripper and all of his scenes were completely deleted, because there are some frames which look the same from manga to anime, but King the Ripper is nowhere to be seen. The moment Garou walks into the scene, it is pretty much faithful in the anime, but wow, just looking at these King the Ripper scenes, we could have gotten some actual Sakuga-like animation in this episode. So to the people who are saying, oh, this was just a dialogue-focused episode, wrong, we could have gotten King the Ripper going absolutely wild on the monsters. It would have been a really intense way to begin the episode and to make you very fearful of King the Ripper. And what do the fans think about this cutscene? scene, well, of course, they are not happy about this either. So let's read some of these comments. It's frustrating to see the one action cut completely removed from this episode, lol. If I'm thinking positively, I just hope they are saving it for some juicier cuts down the line. Still sucks though, admittedly. It's so sad that they removed that scene. I really wanted to see it animated, and it would show how psychotic Royal Ripper is, and would have made the episode way better in general. Also, his voice doesn't really fit him in my opinion. They fumbled this scene, bro. It had the potential to be one of the coolest scenes in anime history. Now I'm lowering my expectations lowest as possible. They are totally butchering the manga characters like Royal Ripper. I really don't understand why they cut Royal Ripper scene. So there you have it. Some people also noticed the cut scene of Ripper and are not liking it at all. But you know, this Ripper scene that was cut could actually mean two potential things. One, JC staff are saving as much time as possible to pour it into all of the hype, insane upcoming battles of season 3. That would possibly explain why the episode was lacking that emotion in some of the scenes. The second reason could potentially be that JC staff are absolutely struggling with the production, that they can't even animate a couple of seconds of a new character attacking some of these monsters. If that is the case, oh dear, things are not looking good.
Oh dear, we are in trouble.
I just hope it's the former, because mate, imagine being a One Punch Man fan who started this series back in 2015, watching and reading the manga, and then having to wait 6 years between season 2 and season 3 in order for you to see any new content. And the first episode you get barely has any motion in. Look, I do understand that this episode is heavily dialogue focused, so it does make sense as to why there isn't any fluid Sakuga-like animation in this episode. But damn, to start the episode off with very limited animation in a series where the fighting scenes are the selling points is not a very good look.
That's no good.
Now, I am going to forgive this episode because it is mainly dialogue and expositions. There is still 11 episodes to go. I won't be hating on this episode and calling it garbage. I am going to sit back and wait and see what Studio JC staff are cooking up. And once we get some of those action sequences, then I can see whether or not this season is good or not. But despite all of that, the episode adapted chapter 86 and 87 pretty faithfully. Even the final frame of chapter 87 is how the episode ended. So for JC staff to cut out the one action sequence is really not a good look in my opinion. It does show us that are JC staff really struggling behind the scenes? Is the One Punch Man season 3 anime well and truly cooked? Well, let's just wait and see what episode 2 of season 3 will have in store for us. Tell me in the comments down below, what do you guys think of all of this? What do you think of the Ripper scene that was cut out? Do you think JC staff are saving all of their budget for the hype priority episodes, or are they well and truly struggling with the animation at that studio? Tell me. Like this video, subscribe for more One Punch Man videos, as well as other anime news updates, reviews, comparisons, breakdowns, rankings, and more. Thank you for watching. The Second Boy Dude signing out.